technology, and it is a true story that he did once attempt to make a mobile phone call using a television remote control. We use Twitter in lots of different ways on Test Match Special and on BBC Cricket in general. First of all, direct content. A link with all sorts of people and a way of getting them involved in a programme and in our cricket coverage. One of the first great success stories came with Lily Allen, who we discovered was a surprise cricket fan via Twitter. You might remember she tweeted, apart from various comments on Graham Onions, she twittered, "I think I might try and get into cricket commentary once I've finished singing." Now this was spotted by Jonathan Agnew, who I'm afraid I have to admit had never heard of Lily Allen. But fortunately I told him that she was quite a big deal and the fact she was into cricket was actually rather interesting. And he received, or sent this tweet out to @LilyRoseAllen. "If you want some cricket commentary lessons, give me a shout, Aggers." And then later wrote, "Twitter certainly isn't a waste of time. Have now got me a fab view from the boundary for Oval Test. Might put me in my place though." And that showed the connection came completely through Twitter, and eventually they made contact and she appeared on the programme. Then in Australia, we heard the amazing story of Ashley Karikas, the 22-year-old children's nanny from Massachusetts, whose Twitter name, @TheAshes, innocently given to her by her boyfriend, led to an overnight Twittersphere sensation and landed her amazingly a trip to Australia. Aggers found out via his Twitter account and Twitter followers that this young woman who knew nothing about cricket suddenly had reached this level of fame just because of her name, @TheAshes, and he encouraged part of his Twitter army, as he calls them, to follow her and to ask a question or two, and this led amazingly to a trip for her to Australia, and Ashley came into the TMS commentary box in Sydney.
Well, I don't know how to introduce Ashley. I really don't. Ashley Karikas. I will tell a little story, Ashley, and you can tell me if you forgive me or not. But I was in Brisbane, I think, in my hotel, and one of my Twitter enthusiasts sent me a message to say, "Hey, Aggers, you've got to look at this, because it's actually quite funny." And there was this name, @TheAshes. And there were one or two questions I saw about, "Hey, what's the score?" or whatever, and I saw one or two replies back from you. They were firm, they weren't rude. They weren't rude. But you can see perhaps getting a little bit stroppy maybe with the attention, and I was gave myself a slap on the wrist the next day, because I did suggest to about 70,000 people that they follow you. I had to ask you a cricket question or two, and when I logged on next day, all I can say is there were just suddenly thousands of people who are following you, and your life had gone mad. But it's lovely to see you here, Ashley, all the way from Westfield, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Ashes. Oh, welcome the Ashes to the Ashes.
Yeah.
What a time you're having.
Oh, I'm having an amazing time.
I mean, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Start from that first moment. When did the first tweet come your way from someone asking about cricket?
It was right after Thanksgiving in our time, and it was the middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I started getting some buzzes to my phone. What had happened was they were interrupting my sleep. So the next morning I wrote, "I am not a freaking cricket match, leave me alone." And so I got on and I'm like, what is this? What is going on? This is the craziest thing ever. I was in shock and just hilarious that people had started tweeting, and I wasn't quite sure what my follower count was, and then when I got home I looked and it was like 3,000. And then once I got on there and started tweeting and said, I think what we tweeted was "what the heck is a wicket?"
Yes.
And then it just started shooting up and eventually peaked around 13,500 followers.
Well, it's amazing that you are here, and I mean, obviously there are various companies that have got behind you, Ashley, who have helped you out. I'm not going to mention here because we behave ourselves at the BBC. However, I mean, they've brought you out. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, and because someone started the hashtag "Get the Ashes to the Ashes," and then it just kind of exploded, and people started using it like, "Yeah, we should get this, American girl who knows nothing about cricket. Let's make, this will be fun. Let's send her out there."
So again, another example of how Twitter and social media gave us direct content and a wonderful story to tell on the programme. It's also fascinating how Twitter has aided the journalism of Test Match Special. I mean, for example, this came from Michael Clarke, the Australian vice-captain, who reacted badly to his dismissal at the end of play in Adelaide. Now, rather than doing a press conference, he went onto Twitter and wrote, as you see there at the bottom, "Just want to apologise for not walking off the ground tonight when I hit the ball. I was just so disappointed. My emotions got the best of me." It's interesting, when I was out in Australia, Cricket Australia sent all their media releases on Twitter. Peter Young, their media director, was sending quotes from interviews and from press conferences. Mark Pugach, when he was presenting Ashes Breakfast on 5 Live, had his tweet deck on the front of his laptop all the time.